1,000 to 1,000.
Hello, and thanks for joining me tonight. My name is Mike Tellerino, CEO and founder of K9 for Veterans. Tonight, I've got some really special guests with me. I got Denise Carson and Don Flanagan.
Finnegan.
Finnegan, I'm so sorry. Uh, who would like to start out by telling us how this honor remember came all about?
I can start if you want, Michael.
Sure.
Actually, so go back to 2005. A young man named Tony Lutz was killed by a sniper, 29th of December of 2005. And his dad, George, out of the Virginia Beach area, became a Gold Star dad. And part of his grief was spent running up and down the East Coast, meeting many families of the fallen to let them know that there were many out there, that they weren't alone. And part of this process, families wanted to know two things: that their son or daughter did not die in vain, and they would not be forgotten. So doing a little research for a specific symbol of the fallen, something that you could hang your hat on per se, not finding anything. The Honor Remember flag was actually developed out of that and launched on Memorial Day of 2008 as a national symbol of remembrance.
Nice.
Something for all branches from our founding to current day. So for those that died while serving or as a result of that service. And that's how the Honor Remember flag came about from the infancy anyway.
That's amazing. Now, is that a national flag, or is each state, like Denise, had to go through the process of getting it recognized by the individual state or nationally?
Well, initially the goal, I think, was to try to go nationally, but that's a tough road right now. So we started at the states, and Virginia was the first one. And now we're at 27 with Illinois. Indiana was the 15th. So it's growing as it does. But so we've taken it from the ground up now in a grassroots level and have the states adopt it. But now we're over halfway. I mean, there are national bills, but you're in committee and it's got to get out, and it's a slow process right now. But
John,
it's there. It's there.
I just think it's such an amazing thing that you guys are doing, all your chapters. And I know what Denise has put into working to get that recognized by the state of Illinois. But I just find it so amazing that there is something going to be out there, hopefully someday nationally, that honor and remember our fallen veterans, because there's nothing really for them.
No, I agree, Michael. And it's special, and the flag itself is pretty simple in its generics, but the meanings and the symbols are all specific, and it's all built up to what gives us our freedom today.
And I'm sure the families have to truly appreciate the recognition that they're finally getting, to honor, remember their fallen veterans and their loved ones.
Well, that's very true. So the outpouring of emotion, especially when you're doing a personalized flag, because the flag itself and design, when you fly it, allows everyone to say thank you, and allows everyone to, as a visible public symbol of remembrance. You don't have to have served. You don't have to be a Gold Star. You don't have to be anything. You're just a patriot that wants to pay that respect.
I remember. It says it all.
Yeah, but when you go to the personalized with the name and the rank, date of death in either country or branch of service, now that becomes a legacy gift to the family that says when we're all gone, that flag remains, and that'll
still be here.
It's with us and with them as it's passed down through generations.
It's like the memorial that Denise knows that we have in Channahon State Park called the Forgotten Warrior Memorial. That's specifically to help honor the families that lost someone. And I don't want to get into the whole thing because this is about honor and remember. But the one takeaway that I do insist on when we have a service is that our fallen veterans, whether it's from PTSD, whatever, they suffered a traumatic
Mhm.
experience, which was a direct cause of their death within service to our country. And they truly need to be recognized as heroes. So,
Absolutely. And that's, I guess, from my perspective, that's one of the things that drew me some 12, 13 years ago to honor and remember was that it was not just for those that died in combat,
right,
because there's a lot of other deaths attributed to military service besides combat. You know,
Yeah.
there are no good deaths. And
Yeah.
this is a way that we get to recognize their service to our country, and puts us in the ability to say thank you, and thank you not only for that service, that sacrifice, but we want to thank you for that.
I want to get a couple of those flags to hang at our training center on the wall.
Thank you. We would appreciate that.
It would be our honor, believe me. It's the least we could do. Denise,
Yes, dear.
I know we've been talking back and forth for that month or two
Months,
now.
years.
Yeah, but why don't you tell us, how did you initiate this? What did you go through? And I know you've had help, but you were the spark that got this thing going.
Oh, I'm just one of many. I did it for the Gold Star families. Oh, I'm such
Sure.
a girl. I did it for the Gold Star families, but actually a year ago today, well, next weekend at the Freedom at the Middle East Conflict Wall, we were talking with Senator Sue Resin, and started talking to her about bringing the flag to Illinois, and she said, I had a bill 8 years ago, but it didn't go anywhere because of various veterans organizations that were concerned that the honor and remember flag would take over or supersede the POW flag and other things, which is not what its goal is. There
No,
can't be enough flags to honor our fallen soldiers and the Gold Star families. And so from that point forward, I called her office, and boy, Senator Resin has got a great bunch of people at her office. And I just learned a lot about the legislative process from both them and you. You know, your thank you for your consultation, because I knew the first person I had to talk to was come to you.
it was
Um,
there to help you. Believe me, you're an amazing lady. You do so much for so many people. God bless you.
I do what I'm supposed to do. But and so it's been I actually have been amazed with the journey that it's gone on. They've been working on it. They reworked the old bill. They brought it new. I gave her some information. Then about the first week in May, Senator Resin calls me, and she's in her car, and she says, "I'm on my way to a meeting with the governor to talk about what's going to come up for the final part of the session." She says, "Now, I'm going to bring the flag in. It might be within this 3 weeks, or it might be in October." And I said, well, it's Illinois. In my head, I'm like, it's Illinois. It'll be October. And I said, okay. And I've been helping her and calling with her and having Gold Stars make phone calls to people. And she called me almost a week and a half, 2 weeks later. And next thing she says, it's gone through the Legislative Bureau 100%. And it's been passed 100%. And she's like, Denise, and I said, I thought you said October.
Jock.
So it was quite a fast process. And her and a state representative, Stephanie Kittlewitz.
Kifowitz. Good friend of mine.
Yep, I pronounce her name wrong, and I do apologize to her.
No, she's fine.
But the two of them, one through the House, one through the Senate, and Senate Bill 1072 went through 100%. Governor Pritzker has actually backed the bill and promised to sign it sometime next week.
Has he signed it yet, hon?
He's going to be signing it next week.
Awesome. That is, again, this is something that, I mean, it will mean so much to our families of our fallen veterans.
Oh, sure.
I mean, we need to do something to give them the honor and respect that our veterans deserve. They really do. They sacrificed it all for us. And if we
Well,
can't put together a flag to remember them by, then you know
exactly.
what? I got a problem with that.
I mean, and it's a beautiful flag. I
Yes, it
mean,
is.
and it has the meaning that this honor and remember flag, and we also have the honor and sacrifice flag for the first responders. And, you know, like you said, you can't say thank you enough
Not
for
at all.
anyone that has given a family member in protection of our freedom. Our freedom is so important. People just
Priceless.
don't realize that, what it creates. The people I work with, they didn't even know that D-Day was the 6th. That's how the generational gap is, I guess. I don't never thought
No,
I'd
I get
be
it.
involved in a generation gap, but I guess I am. And so, like you, like anybody, we sign on the line when we become veteran, when we become military, and we sign our name on the dotted line, and this is what we do for life. And sometimes that includes somebody giving their life for that.
Too many.
And people don't think about the families and the children that they leave. You know, Don and I did a presentation to a young girl last year at the American Legion in Marseilles. She was 3 years old when her father was killed, and we did a flag presentation to her because her grandmother, the fallen's mom, wanted to make sure that she had a flag to take with her to college. And now the young girl's taken the flag and she's got it up in her wall in college to let everybody know, oh, I'm such a girl, about her dad.
That's so amazing. It really is. If that doesn't touch your heart, nothing does. Right? You gotta. You're just. I don't know. You're just not with it. You
Well, and
know. And
that's it.
again, go
I'm
ahead,
sorry.
Denise. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I mean, to me, it's just that's what we're supposed to do. You know, Michael, as you know, when we signed our name on that dotted line, that was for life,
We
and
didn't. We
it's our
didn't ask for
responsibility,
anything.
right?
Right.
It's our responsibility to take those that care of those who came before us. It's our
It's
responsibility to take care of those who come after us and the Gold
it's
Star
our
family.
honor to remember them
That's
for
it.
their sacrifice. Because if
Exactly.
you can't remember all those before us that gave their life and put everything on the line and asked nothing for it in return when they did it, if we don't have the wherewithal to honor these veterans in some way, it's like when I go to a school and talk to preschoolers and young kids and stuff like that, I always, the last thing I tell them is, look, if you see a veteran and they're wearing a veteran's cap or a t-shirt, you need to walk up to that veteran, stick out your hand, shake their hand, and thank them for their service. It
That's
doesn't cost a dime.
that's what I
Let them know that you appreciate the sacrifices that they've made. You know, and we need to do that more often for our veterans. We really do. You
amazing
know,
thing
and
that Don does.
battle.
Oh, I got lost.
I'm sorry.
I got lost. I'm sorry.
Oh
I
no,
lost.
I just said we need to do more for our fallen veterans. We just do. There isn't
Amazing
a
thing
day
that.
that goes by that we shouldn't think about them and thank them for their sacrifice. They paid the ultimate price.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, their families have lost somebody, even if they,
Oh,
even if they, and as Don always says to me, it's not an in-service KIA,
no,
like your organization, they come home and and they carry that with them,
right.
and some can't handle that, and they should be able to know somebody cares about them and to reach out. And one of the amazing things that I am always impressed with is Don's got the Run for the Fallen in Indiana. And these people run and stop and, well, Don can tell you, they stop and talk to the Gold Star families. Tell them about the run, Don. I mean, it is really an amazing thing.
Well, the run becomes part of our mission as honor and member. It's one is to establish the flag as a national symbol. Two is to educate, and when you get Michael, you were talking about the education really comes in letting families know, our freedom came through this whole process, and the families aren't asking; they're just asking their sons or daughters are not forgotten. But
Right.
we owe these families that respect to know who they are. And I always say that when I present flags, it's our responsibility as a nation to know them. They don't need to know us necessarily. We need to know who they are so that we can reach out at different times. The third, we present the personalized flag. Our goal is to get one to every family. I mean, obviously that's a big task. Over the 1.3 million have been lost.
A lot of flags, Don.
That it is to do, but that's our goal. If the family wants one, we will raise the money to do it. And fourth is comfort. We don't like just to give them a flag and say, "Hey, we'll catch you later." So our goal is to really stay in touch and let them know there are things going on that might or might not be relevant to them. So
Right.
the run comes in under the comforts, what I'm talking about. So we've had our 9th annual Indiana. New York's having their 8th run for the following right now. It's a 4-day, 200 plus mile. Ours is a 3-day, 140 mile.
Wow.
We run in relay teams of 4 runners at a time. A lot of them are veterans, not all. And they run a mile, 9 minutes, stop, read out the names. There's a set procedure, little ceremony. That ceremony doesn't take over a minute and a half. They grab a new set of names and head out, and they run another mile. Then that team trades off. Well, you think that's not too bad, but they do this 10 hours a day for this 2 miles. So they run almost a marathon a day, a little less depending. Our goal is you have to run when your team's scheduled, but you can run other miles. So we had one of our runners run 70 miles over that 2.5 days out of our 140. I mean, that's huge. But we have 60 to 65 Gold Star families that show up to hear their sons and daughters' names called out over that 2 minutes. Then you greet them with a handshake or a hug, mostly hugs. And so we don't get a lot of chance to spend with them, but we have some advanced teams out in front of us. They get a chance to meet, talk with them a little more than what we do right there at the center. We're police led, front and back, with we have 2 RVs, so it's a whole process. But the whole thing is just a remembrance. It just says, hey, families, it is a war on terror. The last 23 years. At the end, we call out all Hoosier by numbers from different deaths, like the 1,534 that were lost in Vietnam. So we call that out in respect, because eventually, in fact, we run for all of them, but by name, we can only call out. We did 558 Hoosier names from the War on Terror this year.
That's amazing. At our memorial, I had a mother come up to me and after the ceremony, and she said when she walked around the memorial to see her son's name etched on that memorial, she said, there's only one thing I could walk away with this, is that knowing someone finally acknowledges that I lost my son, and it was due his service to our country. So it's so important to recognize these families because they have nothing. We've got the Gold Star moms, we got the Teal Star moms, and the Teal Star moms are moms of veterans who committed suicide. Okay. But the one thing that they have in common, the one bridge that bridges them together, is a loss of a child is devastating and should never happen. Mm-hmm. No parent should ever lose a child.
And that's part of what my co-ambassador Deb Cinco, we're going to be doing, because we're going to do the Honor and Remember chapter, and we're going to try to connect everybody.
As you said, yeah.
And well, because working various veterans groups that I've been with and things, I've got to meet people, and I think it's time we all come together. The country is so divided, but maybe here in Illinois we can use Honor and Remember to just let everybody know they're not forgotten. Doesn't matter, if you're especially our police and our first responders, and people don't really think about them, but they're front line. may not be in Iraq. They may not have been in Vietnam, but dang, they're on the streets of Chicago and they're on the streets of every city in our country.
We
They,
just opened up our training center. Not only to is before when we started out, it was just for veterans. Now we're doing first responders, police and firemen.
because they need it. They,
Sure they do. We've
you
got
know,
a handful of them in our program already. I mean, gee, we can't do enough for these guys and gals. Okay. We just can't. If somebody wants to purchase a flag, are they available for purchase?
flags are available for purchase on the national website, honorandremember.org. If somebody wants to do a personalized legacy flag, that information's on there, or they can contact the Illinois chapter, the Indiana chapter through our emails, Illinois chapter at honorandremember.org, and Indiana, same way, Indiana chapter at honorandremember.org, and we could direct you to that process. This
Great.
year, next weekend, down at the Middle East Conflict Wall in Marseilles, Illinois, we are privileged to be able to have a presentation at the wall to two Gold Star fathers who one of the fathers, it's going to be his first time coming to the Middle East Conflict Wall to see his son's name on the wall. And he's being escorted by his son's military group on a motorcycle. And then the other one is a Gold Star father that's been supported, always been involved with us at the Middle East Conflict Wall, but really finally is getting the flag for his fallen that he deserves also. So we have that presentation, and then we're having Senator Resin make the presentation, her speech about the Senate bill and the governor signing it. And thanks to the Marseilles, the guys who take care of the wall in Marseilles, we will be raising an honor and remember flag on the Middle East Conflict Wall. Yay! Sorry.
Okay. That's really
We're going to be raising it up so it can fly at the Middle East Conflict Wall, because
Are you looking for volunteers? If somebody wants to make a donation, how do they go about that?
they can do that through the main organization, the main website, or they can contact either one of us or Deb, and there's and we could just direct them that way. The
Good.
main website is honorandremember.org. If they make a donation, then it would be appreciated if they said towards Illinois or towards Indiana. So you designate the state
Where
that
it
it will
goes.
receive. That's right, Don?
Yeah, I mean, but I would really focus here that we're just starting some fundraising in Illinois. We have, without looking at my notes, about 4 open flag requests that have not been sponsored yet. So we have that.
And
We have
honor
that
and sacrifice too.
We have
Now,
one of them requests. Go
What
ahead.
does that cost? What does that cost?
The cost on that is right at $500 for the custom flag, what we call the legacy gift. And along with it comes the 3x5 non-personalized that you can fly all the time. The personalized can, but we just recommend it only on special days. It is a custom flag, only obviously made here in the U.S. And so there is a need. We in Indiana will present over 30 flags a year and have been now, I don't know, the last 5 or 6 years. So we've presented over 300 flags in Indiana, and Illinois is a little over 100. But now with this visibility, with this flag being adopted, now we'll gain.
It'll be better.
So all of a sudden you're going to get the families coming out that you want to make sure that we recognize them. So the process of raising some money to get these flags to them.
Right.
And it's very important to note that if somebody wants to pay for a flag for a specific family, none of the Gold Star families pay for these flags. All of these flags are donated by supporters and people who either want to or be known, or they just want to pay for it and make sure that a family gets the legacy flag. I actually think that the legacy flag is the most beautifulest thing I've ever seen because it's hand stitched together. And then across the bottom, the fallen's name is embroidered on it. And when it opens up, honor and remember, you say, oh, I always honor the Gold Star families and remember the fallen. But then when you open that flag, there's that name, there's the power of that. And here in Illinois, we're just, like Don said, we're just starting our chapter and we have flags. And so any money that we could raise, we're not going to say no. And but we do want to not only clear the flags that we have that are waiting to be given out, but we also want to do more.
I can't even find the words to tell you how awesome I think this is. I really do. It's something that's been needed here in Illinois and nationally for forever. It really has. And for you all to take the initiative, I mean, and this isn't an easy task. I'm going to tell you right now, getting that flag approved in all those states. Let me just tell you, I know what I went through to get license plates approved here in Illinois. It's not an easy task. So God bless you for remembering our fallen veterans and giving these families something to hold on to and let people know that, my loss meant something to somebody. Somebody will remember my son or daughter. So
And that's the mission.
For the work that you and Don are putting in your whole organization, I can't thank you enough for doing this for our veterans. I really can't. It is something that I'm going to hold near and dear to me. And anything I could do to help in any way, Denise, I'm here for you.
Oh yeah, I know where I got your phone number.
Oh boy. But I'm serious. Well, we got the 2-minute warning because I have to stay under 28 minutes to get this aired on TV. So in closing, Don, why don't you give us a closing remark?
Well, I would just say thanks, Michael, for doing this and allowing us to come out onto this, because
my honor.
Many folks, even Gold Star families, that still do not know about us.
Right.
Okay. And this is a way to get this out there, to let them know that this flag is really it's just a remember. It's a thank you. You don't know them all, but together we can know them all.
That's right.
With that flag and flying, that gives you an opportunity to look up and say, hey, that person supports that flag and that families and all these families. So
when we air this on TV, that's when you're going to get a lot of feedback, because we have over 100,000 viewers on my show. So, and I will let you know, Denise, when I post it and when they're going to run it. Okay.
Just so everybody knows, it's not about me. It's not about Don.
It's about our veterans.
Names on the walls and the Gold Star families and our fallen, and that's why we're doing this. I wouldn't do this for anything else.
God bless you guys. Thank you for being my guest tonight. You do what you're doing. I can't even tell you. When I just think it's I get crazy with this. I think it's just unbelievable what you put together to remember our veterans and fallen, to honor and remember. I love it. Those words say it all. We just got to remember our veterans, the ones who sacrificed and gave their all for our country. And even with all this turmoil in our country right now, we're still the best thing out there.
Oh, geez,
hands down. I love our country, and it's the best that we got going.
That's the best thing about America. We fight amongst ourselves, but when somebody picks on us, we take them on. No holds barred.
God bless you for being my guest tonight.
Thank
Continue with your mission, because it's an awesome mission.
All right, thank you.
Thanks for everything, Michael.
God bless you. Thank you.